Hi, this is Ben Frick. I'm the Public Relations and Regional Policy Manager for the NGWA. I am joined today by Robert Stuetzle, who is a member of NGWA and a rising star in the organization. Robert, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Ben.
So let's kind of get right into it here. First off, I know you're presenting at Groundwater Week this year. Could you care to tell us just briefly about what you're presenting?
Yeah, sure. It's generally about integrating newer high-resolution data sets with lower resolution legacy data sets. A lot of money's been spent and a lot of time over the past decades has been spent collecting these lower resolution data sets, but they still hold a lot of valuable insights.
Yeah.
So those could be better understood given the context that the high resolution data provides and vice versa. So basically the plan is we're going to provide a few case studies and hopefully generate some good discussion in the session about this topic. It seems to be affecting the industry as we move forward with these higher resolution methods.
So where did this come from? I mean, had you presented on this before, or was this just something you were seeing in your day-to-day work? I mean, what kind of inspired this presentation?
Yeah, it's a trend that I'm seeing in day-to-day work. I like to use high resolution investigation methods, but a lot of times the difficulty is afterwards when you're interpreting those data and trying to merge them with these other data sets and still trying to get value out of that legacy data. And so this topic was kind of born from those experiences.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. So one thing, I mean, looking at you, people are going to notice that you are a young man. And you're probably on the younger side of our membership, 100%. So, I mean, we always kind of look at the generation gap, with so much of this is, our industry, thrives kind of, especially on the contractor side of family business, not just family business, but not just that, but also on the scientist and engineer side, trying to get young people more interested in STEM and kind of get more people interested in the sciences. So tell me a little bit about how did you get interested in science and more specifically groundwater science? I mean, what was the path that led, a young man like yourself into your position?
Sure. I guess when I was younger, I always kind of enjoyed the experimental nature of sciences. And in high school, I had a chemistry teacher who always liked to do in-class demonstrations of the concepts we were learning, and that kind of helped give me the context that I needed to really get into the science. And because of that, I ended up pursuing chemistry as my specialization when I started university, and quickly sort of moved into hydrogeology.
Yeah.
Almost by accident. I took a geology elective in first year, and I noticed that that the geosciences were really hands-on application of the physical sciences, and something that again I could see the science basically.
Right.
That motivated me to really to dig into it.
That's great. That's great. And so, let's talk a little bit about that. After you're earning your degree, and what was your degree in specifically?
My undergraduate degree was actually a double major in science and business, and the science was hydrogeology.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about what you do now, and is there a lot of practical application from especially the hydrology, and the business side of that you can use in your day-to-day life right now?
Yeah, I mean, the combination has been key for me. I've done some consulting work in the past, but now I'm working on the industry side for the Dow Chemical Company.
Yeah.
And a big portion of what I do is the business side, being able to manage projects and budgets. And so I think it's really valuable to have the two, because you can't have what drives the science is the business side of things in terms of most jobs, and it's
right.
both.
So talking a little bit about Dow, are you seeing an adequate number of students or young people coming out of universities, with degrees that are equipped for these jobs now? Or are you guys usually seeing, all your quotas getting met as far as new employees in this field?
It's definitely tricky. I mean, we're always looking out, both internally and then also through our consultants
Yeah.
for skilled people in this field. And again, people who understand both sides, not just the technical side, but also the business side.
Right.
That's something that a lot of students maybe should think about, is doing a minor or even just taking some professional development classes in one or the other, depending on their discipline. I think there's room for business people in this field as well as the science people, and the crossover is key.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point. Actually, I was just reading about how a new trend actually with people, healthcare professionals, is going back and getting MBAs now. Is a pretty is a pretty big trend. A lot of them are already working at these universities, so they can get kind of just plugged right into MBA programs, and they're seeing an explosion of those right now.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, I mean, let's talk a little bit about, first off, is there anything you think the industry, the groundwater industry or the sciences, do you think there's anything they could do more to attract kids to them right now? I mean, do you think, is it more hands-on learning, or is it more potentially, showing the great careers you can get with these that may not be attainable with, non-science degrees?
Yeah, I think both of those are important. I think the hands-on aspect is really important. Education that involves sort of a field component at all levels, at the high school level and into university. I think that's really key. Being able to get students out to do things like measuring water levels or logging core.
Yeah.
I think that hands-on aspect is what would attract people and keep them sort of in the programs. And then also, like you said, show the great careers. Generally, the hydrogeologists or the geoscience career path in general isn't quite as direct one as some others. You don't go to school specifically for a role when you pop out. You might go work in mining, you might go work in oil and gas, go straight into water supply. It really depends. And I think that it's important to show that it's not just a single career, but the fact that it opens doors to a lot of different industries, and there are a lot of different applications to this kind of science.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I mean, do you feel when you were just coming out of school and starting your career, did you feel like you had that information, like, were you of the mind like, I'm going to get one job and it's got to be in this, and or were you kind of embrace change and that type of thing?
I think I saw a lot of opportunities out there, and one of the reasons was because of the co-op program that we had. I did my undergraduate degree at the University of Waterloo, and they have a really strong co-op program. And because of that, I was able to work at 4 different companies.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so basically that prepared me for, it opened my eyes to what was out there in the industry and what kind of work I like to do and what I want to maybe stay away from.
Yeah.
I think
nothing teaches you what you don't like to do other than doing it, like being forced to do it,
Yeah, you may think that, for example, when I went into chemistry, I thought that that's what I wanted to do until I started really doing it. And then I need something more applied than strictly, lab-based chemistry.
Excellent. So one last question here before we let you get back to work. What's exciting you in the next few years in the industry? I mean, what do you see coming up that really is getting you out of bed excited every day?
I think actually I'm really big into high resolution characterization, as most people know from my past presentations and whatnot.
Right.
But I think the thing that's really interesting is sort of the advances in big data and being able to take those large data sets and get more value out of them. I see that as sort of that's going to be a huge leap forward for our science.
Yeah, that's excellent. I agree 100%. Robert, thank you so much for your time. You've been very generous with that and everything you do for the industry. So thank you very much, and we will see you at Groundwater Week.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.